It's me again. And as I always have to do when I do these things, is I have to get up and correct myself from misstatements before. It's like Time Magazine and Newsweek and the New York Times. They should run a correction column. My correction column right now is that I introduced Hugh O'Brien from Gunsmoke. Now, look, I was born in 1980. How do I know? No, I wasn't even raised on it, so what do I know? Anyway, I stand corrected, sir, and thank you again for being with us. Also, I want to acknowledge Clara Jane Nixon being with us today. Clara Jane. And among all of us, among the most important VIPs is the great-granddaughter of President Herbert Hoover, Margaret Hoover. Margaret, please stand. You've seen her on CNN, and now you've seen her. Oh, thanks. I really appreciate the support. You know, oh, none of you have made mistakes? Huh? As I told you, on ABC, no, Fox News, of course. That's all I want. The correction column's getting a little bigger. And the grandson of President Hoover, Andy. Where's Andy and Jeannie? And Margaret's husband, John. John, please stand. Havlon. John Havlon. We're honored you're here. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a longtime friend and a board member of the Nixon Foundation, a longtime friend of the Nixon family, Jack Drown's daughter, Margaret, I'm going to go back to bed. I should have stayed at Casa Pacifica and just set up residence there. Maureen Nunn is going to give a toast to First Lady Pat Nixon. Maureen Nunn.
It's such an honor and a privilege to be here and to give this toast in the honor and the memory of Pat Nixon. Pat Nixon, Pat, as she was known to her family, to her friends, and the country. But the Secret Service had a code name for her, and that name was Starlight. Is that any reflection of who she truly was? With the light, the style, the beauty, the wisdom, and the compassion for others that she always had. She was voted among the most admired people in the world on the Good Housekeeping poll, and she remained on that list from 1970 to 1993 when she died, and then she remained on that list years later. She left a remarkable legacy in her beautiful, beautiful daughter, Tricia Nixon Cox, who's here today, and her family, and her daughter, Julie Eisenhower, two remarkable, outstanding women. Her husband, President Nixon, called her his greatest partner and also the true ambassador of peace and goodwill. She was truly, truly remarkable. He dedicated in his book to her, to Pat, who also ran. I would like to close with the remarks, actually the quote that's on her tombstone right here at the Nixon Library. And it says, Pat Nixon, even though you can't speak your language, people will know if you have love in your heart. God bless you, Pat. Thank you.
Our own Congressman, and we're honored to have his presence today, as we frequently do. He is a wonderful friend of the entire Nixon family. He helps us in Congress. He's responsive. He's helpful. He is here for our Veterans Day, our 9/11 events, Anytime we ask him, he's there for us, and we appreciate that no end. To give a toast to President Nixon, Congressman Gary Miller.
Sandy, thank you. He remembered my name. This is really cool. You know, this is, for me, a tremendous, tremendous honor. Remember when I was a young man raised in South Whittier, which is kind of a very poor area, down the street on Imperial, driving down the street yelling, "Yay Nixon, boo Kennedy." You know, little guy. And this man, honestly, is my hero. I have the Richard Nixon conference room in my office here in Brea. And it's so good to see Tricia, Ed Cox, and this man. Stand up again, Ed Nixon. Look at this face. You got to give this a round of applause. You really do. This is... But we Republicans, we complain about getting beat up by the press. Talk to Richard Nixon. And you talk about a man who persevered, who always did what he believed was right, who left this country a better country than it was when he came into it, who undertook things that many of us would consider a nightmare, never want to have to deal with, and he dealt with them effectively. He was a great man, a great president, and he told me I had to do it in less than a minute, to a man I hold in the highest regard, an incredible individual, President of the United States, Richard Milhouse Nixon.